On to our game review for this week. 3D Dot Game Hero finally came out in America Tuesday of last week. Exclusive to the PlayStation 3. It's a sort of budget title at $40. This game is developed by Atlus, who most people know them from Mitsugama Tensei, also known as Persona, that series, and it's also published by From Software, which are most famous for the Tenchu series. And there's actually a nod to Tenchu in this game, because there's a character creator where you can customize your own characters, and they also have tons you can pick from, and two of which are the characters from Tenchu, Ayami and Rikimaru.
Yeah, it's like I actually made Mega Man. He made Flat Mario.
Yeah, I just screwed around with it real quick and made the 2D version of Mario.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty simple to work with, but at the same time, it can also get complicated depending on what you're doing. It's
fun as hell to do. I've seen people do Link. I've seen people do a 3D Mario. I've seen one person do Batman with a cape. It was fucking badass.
The character creator is really fun to work with. There's lots of retro nods throughout the entire game, from the load screens, which recreate covers or scenes from old school games. Like there's a Street Fighter one, there's Tetris, there's
a Mega Man,
there's Final Fantasy, and by default though what the load screens are is whenever you go from certain areas to other areas, sometimes the screen will shift over, but other times it will go to a load screen. By default, it just goes to a black screen. You actually have to pause the game, go into the options, and switch it to have load screen art. It doesn't make it load any slower, so I don't know why it's not on by default, because the load screens are awesome, and who the hell wants to look at just a black screen?
Yeah, so if you get this game, which we do recommend later, definitely have that option chose. Have that load screen up, because it's fun to try to say, what game is that from?
Yeah, there's 105 different load screens, and you can actually unlock a gallery of them after you've watched that particular load screen. It randomly selects one for the different areas you load in. They all look pretty cool. Most of them I have no idea what they are.
Yeah, but right down to the heart and soul of 3D Dot Heroes, it's the simple fact that it's a Zelda clone.
It's a 3D 8-bit version, which that sounds weird, but if you think about it, that's probably the best description of the style of game this is.
Yes.
But a 3D 8-bit version of Zelda for the PlayStation.
I have no problem with that. And apparently a lot of critics don't have problems with that either. Now,
when it comes to this game.
When it comes to this game, which is really confusing to me, because they said how bad it was that Darksiders was so much like Zelda, but yet this is so much like Zelda, but it pays homage while the other one just steals.
This is an exact clone of Zelda, from the style of gameplay, from everything in the game. The music, the art style, the quests.
The special weapons. Straight off, you get a boomerang, then you get a hook shot.
Yeah. Bombs, bow and arrows, things like that. I mean, it's a clone of Zelda, which I'm completely fine with it. I don't care that they made a clone of Zelda. But I hate that people complain when other games borrow elements from one of the greatest games ever made. And that's a problem. But if you completely rip it off, that's fine. But if you borrow elements, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's like, don't be a hypocrite. Just, if you like one game because it's like another game, but you hate another game because it's like that same game that you like this other game for copying that game, that's fucking retarded.
Ooh, your powers of deduction are exceptional. I simply can't allow you to waste them here when there are so many crimes going unsolved at this very moment. Go, go!
3D Dot Game Hero is full of jokes and really bad English on purpose, like one-up get.
Yeah, you get when you beat a boss, they drop it off. Well, instead of hearts, it's apples, and you pick up an apple and it says one-up get.
But there's all sorts of retro jokes throughout the whole game. Like there are certain areas where you'll talk to someone and they'll actually say something that was from another game.
Yeah, lots of references, and it's awesome. I mean, I love this game. This is the kind of game that you should get a PS. Well, you should already have a PS3, but if you don't, I could see this is one of the games that would definitely be in your library.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is a buy a PS3 for this game, but it's a game that you should buy if you have a PS3.
If you have a PS3, you should buy this game. It's that simple.
There is, it's almost a perfect game in my opinion, just because what they're going for, with the exception of some of the combat decisions are stupid. Like, you have a massive sword. The thing takes up, like, the whole screen when you upgrade it. And you can upgrade it, and one of the first upgrades you should buy is the Pierce thing, because it will go through walls and stuff, and your sword won't get blocked. But one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't swipe to the side like Zelda does. You can manually do like a spin with your thing. You can upgrade to a spin also, but your just default attack is just a straight jab.
Yeah.
And when you get hit, even like half an apple of your health bar is gone. Your sword goes from the massive one to just a regular sized sword. But he doesn't swipe to the side like Zelda does, so you have to be perfectly lined up with enemies, and that can be frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard. And sometimes he doesn't want to turn. You try to move the joystick around, and he just won't turn. Or if you're facing it one way, and you want to turn to face another enemy coming, he won't turn. He'll just start walking sideways.
Yeah, that can be an issue. I mean, it doesn't matter if you use the D-pad or the joystick. It seems to have the same issue with both. I didn't have as much problem as you had with it.
Yeah.
It seems like you had tons of problems where you just wouldn't turn.
Fucker just won't turn.
But that's one of the minor complaints to the game. It's definitely a buy in.
Yes, definitely a buy. Get this game, and for $40, it's worth it. There's so many little mini games inside of it too.
Yeah,
little dash runs, block games. Buy this game. $40, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you have a PS3, there's no reason not to own it.
Yeah, because there's not really a whole lot of good games out for the PS3.
Well, exclusives.
Exclusives.
As I say, there are lots of good games,
yes,
but they're multi-platform.
I mean exclusive games.
Yeah.
Look again. The sword is now a giant fish. Anything is possible with the 3D Dot Game Heroes character creator. I'm a tank.
That is going to do it for this edition of the Monday Media Review for Two Guys on a Couch. You can see all our videos at tuxedocats.com. You can friend us on Facebook at facebook.com/tuxedocats. Follow us at twitter.com/tuxedocats. And whenever the site gets up and running, I'm still going to plug it. But right now we're not really on it, but it's because Arthur's doing some work. And that's MediaSlayerProductions.com.
Yes.
For Two Guys on a Couch, I'm Joe.
And I am George.
We'll see you next time here on the couch.
Hello, players. Look at your kingdom's hero. Now back to me. Now back at your hero. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me.